Welcome to Mindfulness, Mental Health Awareness Series. What is mental health? It's been talked about a lot in the last few years, especially at the height of the pandemic. But do we actually understand what it really means? What it means to the people affected by it, to the people around them, and what can we do to help and support people living with mental health problems? Unfortunately, even up to today, most of us assume information without confirming facts. There are still too many myths and misconceptions when it comes to mental health, and how people who suffer from these illnesses and disorders are often misunderstood. Today, in an attempt to lessen the stigma and increase awareness, we will be covering 10 mental health myths. Myth number 1. Mental illness and disorder are extremely rare and do not affect me. Mental illness and disorder are actually more common than we realize. More than 50% were diagnosed with a mental illness or disorder at some point in their lifetime. 1 in 5 Americans experience a mental health issue each year. 1 in 25 Americans lived with a serious mental illness, such as major depression, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia that interferes with daily life activities. While there are demographics that are more likely than others to have a mental illness, anyone can develop one. Everyone. From a homeless person to a wealthy entrepreneur can be at risk of developing a mental health disorder. Myth number 2. Children and teens do not experience mental health problems. Mental health problems can occur at any age. Even very young children may show early warning signs of mental health concerns. Some are often clinically diagnosable, while some may be dismissed as behavioral problems. Early mental health support can help a child before problems interfere with other developmental needs. Sadly, 1 in 6 children aged 2 to 8 years had a mental, behavioral, or developmental disorder, but only 20% received care from a mental health provider. Studies also revealed that 13% of children aged 8 to 15 years will develop or experience a mental health condition. While half of all mental health disorders show first signs before a person turns 14, 3/4 of mental health disorders begin before the age of 24. Myth number 3. Mental health disorders are not real illness and are just an excuse for poor behavior. Do you wonder about the validity of mental illness and disorders? Do you find yourself asking, is mental health real? Even though they may not have a physical manifestation, mental illnesses and disorders are real and diagnosable medical condition. Like someone having a heart disease or a diabetes, these conditions do cause significant damage to an individual's well-being. Mental illness and disorders are caused by a combination of factors, with genetic and chemical imbalances playing a big role. Brain scans in some patients with mental disorders show areas of the brain that are different shapes or sizes compared to the rest of the population. There are also measurable physical problems within the brain that can lead to the altered thought processes common with mental illness. Myth number 4. People with mental health problems can snap out of it if they try hard enough. People who believe mental health problems as not being real often also believe that the person who has this problem should be able to control their thoughts and actions. And if they try hard enough, they can snap out of it. They also believe that the only way someone could develop a mental illness is if they willingly let it happen. The reality is, while some behaviors may be controlled, depending on the type of mental illness, many people are not able to fully control their behaviors. Unfortunately, chemical changes in the brain or brain structure that occur with mental illness can actually change the way the person is able to think and rationalize. Myth number 5. Mental health disorders make people violent and unpredictable. Many people believe that mental illness and violence go hand in hand. While mental illness can increase the likelihood of violence in some individuals, in most cases, mental illness does not increase a person's chances of becoming dangerous. Majority of people with mental health problems are no more likely to be violent than anyone else. Only 3 to 5% of violent acts can be attributed to individuals living with a serious mental illness. In fact, people with severe mental illnesses are over 10 times more likely to be victims of violent crime than anyone else. Myth number 6, mental health problems are a sign of weakness. Just like any major illness, like heart disease or diabetes, mental illness and disorders are not the fault of the person who has the condition. The fact is, these are caused by biological or environmental factors, not a result of a person's weakness. These biological or environmental factors includes genetics, brain chemistry, family history of mental health problems, physical illness or injury, and life experiences such as trauma or a history of abuse. Myth number 7. People with mental health illness are actually just crazy. This hurtful and insensitive stereotype on people living with mental illness fit into the idea that mental illness is uncontrollable and always severe, when in reality, mental illness and disorders fall in a bigger spectrum. Mental illness and disorders can range from moderate to severe, and can even come and go. Labeling a person who may be on a journey to get better can hinder and damage any progress they made. Terms like crazy or insane are frequently only associated with psychotic symptoms such as hallucinations and delusions. These symptoms are generally only prevalent in certain mental health disorders, and not exclusively applicable for all people living with mental illness. Myth number 8. People with mental health disorders cannot function in society. The stigma that people with mental health illness are not productive and are not able to function in society is misleading. In reality, people with mental health problems can be as productive as others. Employers who hire people with mental health problems reported good attendance and punctuality, as well as motivation, good work, and job tenure. While it is true that some mental illness may cause severe impairments, most mental illness can be managed with therapy or medication. Myth number 9. Recovery from mental illness is impossible. As healthcare and understanding of mental illness has progressed, recovery is now a distinct possibility. While there may not be a cure, many mental illnesses are treatable that can help manage symptoms to experience significantly higher quality of life. Studies show that people with mental health problems get better, and many might recover completely. Recovery refers to the process in which people are able to live, work, learn, and participate fully in their communities. There are more treatments, services, and community support systems than ever before, and they work. Myth number 10. There's nothing I can do to help someone with mental illness. Because of the misconceptions, more than half of those affected by mental illness do not talk about what they're going through. As a result, they do not get the treatment they need. There's a high likelihood that you or someone you know will be affected by a mental health issue. You can help and make a difference by reaching out and letting them know you're there for them, and if needed, by assisting them to access mental health services. This widely held but false belief about mental health should not stand in the way. Everyone deserves support. Do not be afraid to seek help. Mental illness is not something to be ashamed or embarrassed about. Being aware of mental health issues can be helpful in understanding oneself. Moreover, it can save lives. Thank you so much for watching. To support our channel, give the video a thumbs up, comment below and share with your friends. For more video like this, subscribe, check out our other videos, and as always, take care of yourself.